Oh, there the kids at.
Good evening. 7 o'clock, the Board of Health has a meeting. Okay, the meeting's open. I understand we have public hearing, tobacco regulation modification. First, we gotta through the, we got it to the minutes. Can we read the minutes? Okay. I gotta read it. All right.
Have a good night.
These are just copies of the draft that everybody was given. So for
Thank you.
Anybody who comes in, every retailer got one. Did you want a copy of the tobacco regs?
I have a copy.
Good.
You want a copy, Carol?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Did you do that? Because they really have to take it.
Everybody read that minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Do I entertain a motion?
Make a motion to approve the Board of Health meeting minutes for the April 9th meeting
I'll second that.
2019?
of 2019.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll just say I wasn't here.
Okay.
Yep.
Correspondence, we have any correspondence here? No? We'll sign permit later. Did you get it?
At the end, okay.
Okay. All right, so we go forwards. Who's here from tobacco regulation modification? You are? Both of you?
Yep.
Will you approach the table? Did you sign in before I forget?
I did.
I did not.
Okay, sign in, please.
Might
Oh,
have
we-
to
we
wait.
know who it is.
We might have to wait a few more minutes.
Okay.
Do you know where it is? The sign-in sheet?
Oh,
That's back there on the It's table. by the door.
Oh, didn't see.
While
it.
she's doing that, I can give you this handout.
Great.
Maybe. Do you want us to all sign?
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody
Yes,
should
thank
sign.
you.
Thank you.
So we don't have this? This is something new?
It's just updated lists, but it's easy for me to talk from them, that's why. Give them out.
So much paper with this.
While I do my thing, and then,
Are you just gonna talk about tobacco, then open the hearing?
or is it, this is
We
the
have to wait
hearing?
until 7:10.
We have to wait until 7:10 in
Yeah,
case
so-
anybody...
so-
Okay, go right ahead, do your.
May I have the draft with the,
You're correct, I'm sorry, you're right.
This is the draft.
thanks.
You know, outside of the hearing, because you'll just open the hearing and you'll take public comment.
Right.
DJ will give public comment for Mass Municipal and then open it up to anyone in the room who wants
Okay.
to talk about it. I'm your agent for tobacco, so I don't really have anything to add than things that I've already added. But I will add that we hand-delivered the regulation last week. It was Tuesday, I think it was. We hand-delivered it and everybody signed that they received it.
Good.
We asked to speak to the owner or manager. We did it during the day, early, you know, hopefully that managers were there. There was a couple of stores, it was only the clerks, but they signed that they received it for the store with the hearing notice. Everybody was notified that they could give, if they couldn't make it tonight,
Yeah.
that they could give written comment.
Okay.
So if anybody did submit written comment, when you open the hearing, you would just enter
Okay,
those comments into the minutes.
but we don't have any. I don't think
Well,
we-
when I checked with, is it Janet?
Janet.
When I checked with Janet, there wasn't any, so there might be nothing to enter.
Right,
Okay.
Because then she would have made copies of it or forwarded it
right,
to you.
right.
So, you know, at this particular point, I will say that some of the owners of the stores in Littleton
Right,
already have stores and locations that have these regulations that your neighbors
Okay,
have.
good.
And, you know, DJ has some sheets that show how many people passed all of these regulations around you, because many already have the flavor restriction, many have the cigar. So when you get into the hearing, he'll be able to talk to you about that. But there was a couple minor questions when I delivered it. But again, I wasn't talking to all owners, I was just talking to whoever was in charge at the time.
Right.
Manager, a couple owners, and a couple of clerks, because there's only 9, I think there was 9 places, but is it Fallon's? They closed, like, just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just closed like just a couple weeks ago, so Fallon's wasn't open, so that reduces the number of your permits. Outside of this regulation, I also did the retail education visit while I was there, and we had 3 locations that didn't have DOR, didn't know if they had it, didn't know if it was posted, so I was able to work, and then one freestanding self-service display violation, I was able to work with all 3 owners to get those violations resolved. So everybody has an active DOR, everybody has their stuff behind the counter, and other than that, there was no other issues, that all the stores were in good shape.
Littleton only has 3 Ts, not 4.
Oh, that, I don't know who made that list, that
Right,
must
me.
just be a typo on the maps.
You're getting a little crazy with the T.
Mistake.
So how many, with Fallon's being out, how many,
I think it brings you to 8.
and what the draft was that we decided they weren't gonna be able to get any more? Is that,
Well, in your regulation, you have I didn't put the number in yet, but, because it's just a draft, but what you would do is you would cap it.
at 8?
You would have to make a decision to cap it if you're gonna do the retiring, reduce the number, so you would, if you're doing we cap it and that's the number forever, or you're gonna cap it and when someone goes out of business, it retires, your number would always be changing, depending on how, and it does not, your capping doesn't affect when a business sells a business. It only affects it if the store goes completely empty for over 6 months and it's not turned over, then that one would be retired.
I see.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So that's still a choice of the board to do it either way. It's not like a decision you have to make tonight. Tonight you just.
Which would you recommend?
Well, DJ has a list of people who have the caps, and it will tell you who around you has retiring cap. Different towns do different things with it. I know the retiring cap is becoming more and more popular, and a lot of alliance towns have done the retiring cap.
Yeah, that's what I was
But,
kind of leaning towards.
because it doesn't affect when someone's selling an active business. So if a building goes out of business and it's empty for 2 years, that's the one that gets retired, not the person who's selling it actively.
And how come we're not in the list for the restricted flavor
I
and
know.
the cigars? Does that mean
We only-
we just don't sell cigars and?
Only for
We don't-
tobacco.
Because you're passing that tonight.
Oh, okay.
You don't have it in your reg,
Oh,
that's why
okay.
you're not on the list.
Okay.
Those are the lists to let you know who has this, the proposed reg that you're looking at, everybody listed there has it, so you
Okay.
can see your neighbors have what we're asking you to
The
do.
question is, do you have to have it in the town of Littleton? Has to be mandated by the state? Or we can say we don't like to have it?
Anything in this reg right now, you can say yes or no to. So this is a draft, so if you want a cap, you can have one, if you don't want one, you don't have to have one.
My personally, because I don't want to, interfere with anybody that has a vice, they go from one thing to another. But I don't even smoke, okay?
Yeah.
They want to kill themselves, that's their business. The question is, if they go further than cigarettes, I can say, I'm against it. I mean, the stuff that they're making today is not good anyway, okay? So if it's good for the people that's selling it, it's like marijuana, the same way. You know what I mean? 1 minute, please. I mean, I don't want to intrude whoever sells it, but me personally, I say, why should I say yes if in my conscience I said it's not the right thing?
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, so I guess what happens is you have the draft that we pretty much talked about. The board put in it what they would like to get public comment on.
Right.
So you would open up your hearing, hear what people have to say. take it all under consideration, and then you as board members would fully discuss it at your next meeting, which
Right,
way you want to
right.
go. So you're not making decisions tonight.
Something, a cigarette, something, it's already there. People already smoke. But all the other stuff that they come up with, it's a novelty at the moment.
Right.
And I think before I personally say the board should think about at least 48 hours and at the next meeting verse their opinion, because making a decision like that, it's like giving somebody a gun with a loaded gun, you know what I mean?
Right,
Say,
that-
do what you want to do, you know?
Right,
You
so
wanna
that's
kill yourself,
why-
go ahead.
That's why you guys discussed what you wanted to open up for public comment, and then you'll take that all under consideration.
Right.
And at your next meeting, you would go, 1, we want, 2, we don't, 3, we do, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do,
Right.
you don't make any decisions tonight.
Okay, so now it's 7:10, so,
Okay, now we open for the public.
I said DJ has something.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm the public, so.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you open?
Okay, go ahead.
So let me go off this here. So my name is DJ Wilson. I'm the Tobacco Control Director at Mass Municipal Association. And so the handout I gave you are our lists. I did not include the list for capping.
Okay.
But we do have cities and towns that have a basic cap that just says, as of today, we're going to have no more than 8 permits out there at any given time.
Right.
And then there's advanced cap where a store closes and it can go down by 1. It does always allow a seller to find a buyer, and the buyer has a chance to capture
I
their
see.
permit. So
I
it's
see.
it's not. So we did that on purpose. So the first page of this handout are those cities and towns that have put in place a flavor restriction policy. In 2009, the federal government banned the sale of flavored cigarettes.
Right.
And then a few years later, the city of Providence passed a city ordinance that expanded that not only to cigarettes, but to all of the tobacco products as well as e-cigarette juices. And they got sued on by the tobacco industry in federal court, and Providence won at the Federal Court of Appeals. We're in the same federal court district, so it applies to us. So that gave us a big green light for Massachusetts cities and towns to pass. So you'll see that we have 146 cities and towns that have put this in place. 3 of those cities, and 1 city and 2 towns, have gone beyond this because the Providence ordinance had an exemption for mint menthol and wintergreen and an exemption to allow retail tobacco stores to continue selling. Those are still in your, so 143 have that, and then 3 have gone beyond it. So we do feel that the tobacco industry really hates this policy because I think that they recognize it is effective. It does take a lot of flavored product out of stores that it's very kid friendly. In 2009, the federal government said flavors are a starter kit for kids, and so they recognize that for cigarettes. But at the time, the cigar industry had a better lobbyist at the federal government, apparently. So that's the original. So you're looking at the original flavor policy, minimum pricing for cigars. At the same time, Providence got a chunk of federal change to do that policy. Boston got the same grant money to do minimum pricing on cigars. So this says that a single cigar has to be a retail sale at $2.50 or more, and all multi-packs, 2 or more, has to be at least $5. This is not a tax. The extra money stays with the retailer. And these are the cities and towns that have done that. Banning blunt wraps. Blunt wraps are a sheet of reconstituted flavored tobacco, almost always used for marijuana. And the city of Boston was the first to ban it. They got sued in state court, and they won at the Supreme Judicial Court. So this is a very legal policy to do, and it takes out that slew of kind of drug paraphernalia that we care about because we don't want kids being addicted to nicotine at the same time of doing this. And then the last 2 are cities and towns that restrict new retailers within 500 feet of the school. And then the last one are those cities and towns that say no new retailers within 500 feet of an existing retailer.
I see.
And so you don't have a corner that has 4
Right,
competing tobacco.
Let's say 500
tobacco
feet away.
Right. And this actually started because this is your neck of the woods. Townsend, most of their retailers were all in the same strip mall. So they were like, okay, we kind of done having this happen. So they were the first to put that in place. So thank you very much for entertaining these changes.
Okay, I think, 1 second, go ahead.
I just wanted to add that DJ Wilson is also, as the attorney for Mass Municipal Association, if somebody asks a technical legal question, he can answer it for your board because you pay dues to his association.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay, so
No,
now open it up to
w-
public
yeah.
questions.
Go ahead,
Can I
sir.
ask-
State your name.
John Mansour, I'm from County Convenience. You said the word kids 4 or 5 times. Can you tell me what the age of the kids that you're trying to refer to? Kids, is it
Under
kids?
20, under 20.
Under 21. Okay, just so that you know that we just passed a law in Massachusetts. We cannot sell any tobacco to anyone under 21.
21, right.
So
If you're
anyone who is buying, no, we are not grandfathered. This town already passed the law, so it's 21.
Yeah.
We are not grandfathering. So just so that you guys know, it is 21 and up.
Well, thank
We're
you.
talking about adults.
Thank you. Anybody else want, well, we open, anybody else wanted to, you say you want to say something?
I'm all set right now.
You upset or something?
No.
Do you guys have the ability to, like, grandfather the stores that are already selling these products?
For the tobacco, we've already said no grandfather,
No grandfather.
yeah.
Right.
Well, for the flavor policy?
No, for
For everything, for
For everything.
the age.
Changing the flavor policy from what you have in here
Yeah.
veers from that federal court decision, and it opens you up to a lawsuit.
Oh,
I think she was asking about the age, can we grandfather the age? But they voted to not grandfather the age for effective December 30th. So she's asking, can they turn around and add the grandfather in? Is that what?
No, that wasn't
Okay.
somebody else.
That was
Okay,
Sean.
sorry, I misunderstood.
One thing is local, one thing is state, and one thing is federal. We can't actually go against the federal if they decide everybody wants to get addicted, whatever, there's not much we can do. The question is, we're trying to help the kids not to get addicted early. That's all, and you understand what I'm talking about,
No,
right?
uh-huh.
Thank you.
I have 2 boys and I know that. And I
Thank
never
you.
smoked a cigarette like you too.
Thank you,
so
thank you.
you're lucky.
I'm lucky, you're right. You know what happened? Just a very short story. My father says, "Come over here, I want to give you a hug." Smart, because he smells cigarette. I was with a group of young kids, maybe 13, 14 years old, and one kid says, "Come on, Gino, you can try this." I put the cigarette in my mouth and I threw it out. Okay, my father gave me a hug, and he gave me a slap in the face. I said, "Why you do that, Pop?" "Because I love you. Come over here, I'll give you a hug." Never smoke. It's no good for you. And you know what? I never smoke.
I just wanted to add, for everybody who has a copy of the reg, everything in black, the board had already passed. They're only considering the stuff that's in blue.
Okay, so we might need some help from you, okay, sir? I'm not paying you, but I'm sure somebody's gonna pay you for it. Yeah, you, yeah. But anyway, I open up anybody wants to ask the question, or you wanna tell your view? I mean, you like to have some time to think about it. Something that is state, we can accommodate. Something from federal, if they decide the kids, they're gonna get addicted, whatever, not much we can do. We can't afford to get sued, okay? But you never know. Maybe somebody will be able to listen and says, maybe they're right. Maybe the Board of Littleton they're right. They're trying to prevent kids getting addicted and die early. So let's see what we can do.
I think there's more public comment.
Go ahead, sir. State your name.
Mr. Chair, Gary Archer, Archer's Mobile, Littleton.
Thank you.
I guess I have one question, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way when, I'm sorry, I forget your name, ma'am.
Joan?
Joan, you said in front of the board, you said, yeah, we're here tonight to ban all these flavors tonight. I think this is a board that's going to discuss what's happening, not, we're here to ban this tonight. I think that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, the way you just said it.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna-
think you misunderstood
No,
how I
I
meant it.
understood you fully.
No, 'cause
You
it's not a
said-
ban,
you
it's a
said, "No,
restriction."
we're here to restrict all this tonight. So I
Try to
think- I
review
think
the
that
draft
this
to
thing-
restrict.
What I'd like to hear is have the board make decisions. So that's what I'd like to do. I hope there's a discussion, I hope it's a fair discussion. and I
There's a
hope we
discussion.
can,
There's a
You know,
discussion.
not say, yeah, we're here to get this done and move on to another town. I guess my point of view is, I agree with the age of 21. You
Thank
should be 21 years old,
Thank you.
of age, and I don't want kids smoking either. I don't smoke, and I don't condone that. And we've always followed it as business owners. We've always followed the rules and regulations of this town. We have no issues. We have no violations. I hope you guys know that. We've been here a long time. My family's been in town for 55 years. They're running the mobile station in the Common. So we've been here a long time. We've always abided by the town. We
Right.
we do everything that we can to be a good community leader and to be part of that community. And we do everything the town has to do, and we
We
don't have any
appreciate it.
violations.
We appreciate
And
it.
I think you know, you
I-
know who we are.
I know.
So what
I
I'm
can vouch,
asking.
I can vouch for you guys.
Thank you. So I'm asking the town is, you know what, we are doing the things the US has to do and the state has to do, 20 years of age and older,
Right.
and that's what we're doing. We cut everyone
Right.
if we feel that they're, questionable. So we do that. So we're doing everything the way we should do. But I think when you're asking adults to say, you know what, we have this flavored tobaccos, and we really feel that you're an adult, 30, 40, pick a number, over 21. And you say, you know what, you shouldn't do it because it's bad for you. Well, I think they're an adult, they should be able to make their own decision. I don't think it's up to the board to say, yeah, you're an adult, but you shouldn't smoke that. Yeah, you can say it, but is it really right to say?
I agree with you.
You have to, you can't do it, you're an adult, but you're not allowed to do that? Let's face it, guys.
No, we can't.
And folks, and I'm just trying to give you my opinion as a business owner, and I'm just trying to make a living, and we have a lot of things on us. We have, the minimum age went up, and we're doing that. We're following that. We have health insurance is through the roof. And any small business owner in this room
Yeah.
knows that. We're fighting those issues. There's a lot of things on us, taxes go up, things go up all the time. So we're always trying to combat that and make sure we're doing the right things to try to keep ourselves and keep the lights on and keep things in the black, if you will. And you know what? Again, my dad started the place at 66. I'm a second generation owner, and we support the town. When the fire department comes to us, the police department, or the church, or the local baseball team or something, you know what? We do what we can, and I know you do the same thing. We support the town, and you know what? We hate to say no, because what if you came to me and said, you know what? My son or daughter, is on this team, or they're doing something, and would you support them? And what if I said no every time? Like, geez, I'm a really good customer. Maybe you don't know who I am, but I know who you are. So we try to do everything we can to support the charitable things in town, and we do. I think we do a really good job. It's really hard to say no, and I think we've always been very generous, and I think we speak for you as well. We do things, and we support the little leagues and the cheerleading and the baseball and the football and the guys. We get bombarded.
We don't question your good citizenship.
Thank
No,
you, but
the only thing you spoke, we understand what you're saying.
Right.
And I'm sure that we're not gonna condone, what you're actually saying. The board understand that. They're 21 years old, they're over 21, I understand that. We cannot say somebody that is over 21, if the law requires, says, they have a different flavor. It's up to the individual to decide whether they wants to kill himself or not.
Right. I feel the same way. I guess the only thing I'm trying to, not to get off subject, but all I was trying to say is, all these things that they can help us, run our business, these help to do other things in the community, to help the schools and help the teams and do things with the churches and things. We do an awful lot. And I don't know if you know that, but we do. We really do. And the other thing is, if you're not going to get it here in Littleton, you're going to get it online. You're going to go over the border. We're a border town. You can go to New Hampshire and get it over there. So all I'm saying is, if you're not going to get it in my place, you're going to get it somewhere else. And all you're doing is saying you're pushing a customer from my place, us local business people, to another place.
When
And
you
I
say
don't
different
think-
flavors, would you please identify different flavors? Now, are you talking about cigarettes, different
No, I'm
flavors?
talking about the blunt wraps. I'm talking about the e-cigarettes, the
Okay.
flavored things that
Okay.
this
So
cherry and yeah.
actually, the state, I don't know, allow that, am I correct? The
They
state-
did.
The federal doesn't allow?
It's legal, yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing, as you know, Massachusetts just passed marijuana use. So these items are for marijuana. I mean, let's face it, people roll their own cigarettes. So,
As long they are 21 over, I feel bad in a sense, because I know you, in business, you have to make a living. But for me personally, I'm not gonna lie to you. For me personally, I say, if you want to really spend money or something, you can buy other different things. Why you want to kill yourself? This stuff is no good for you. But the question is, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm only here to say to my board, express your point of view. What do you think about it? We cannot say no when the state and the federal accommodate a person like you in business to sell everything. But we do have the right to say, why? Can you prevent that? Can you buy more cigarettes? So you want to kill yourself? Why don't you buy more cigarettes? with a lot of nicotine, you know, why
Right.
do other stuff that is not good for you?
Yeah.
But I'm not here to decide that, because I don't have the knowledge of it. I only know that whatever comes out, they're gonna kill you.
And I
Sooner or
respect
later,
the-
they're gonna kill you.
And I respect the board's position, whatever position you take, and if you decide against certain things, or you decide for certain things, whatever, I'm gonna abide by that. That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
If you say that's it, that's it.
Yeah.
But I hope you understand that.
We understand.
Someone
I
over
understand.
21 years of age
Yeah.
should have the ability to make their own decision, and if you don't get it from me, you're gonna get it somewhere else.
If
That's
you
all I'm
go
trying
to
to
New
say.
Hampshire, go there,
Thank
go
you, Mr.
to.
Chair.
Is there a particular
Thank you.
regulation that you're talking about? Are you talking about just the flavor?
Yeah, he's just talking about food.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
any
there's-
of the other
you
ones
wanna-
that you have discussion for?
I work with Gary, so I just put some numbers together. I'm Carol, I'm the manager for
Hi,
the
Carol.
mobile station. So I think what we were talking about is that, so somebody comes in, so if we stop selling the cherry blue and they buy the regular blue, what difference does it make? We're taking away their ability to make a choice. So we're saying, so instead of saying like, okay, we offer, a whole cooler full of beverages, well, let's just say, okay, sugar's not good for you, so we're only gonna sell water. Because, people say sugar's not good for you, candy's not good for you.
But not in
that
plastic.
stuff's not good. Plastic's not good for you. So it's a matter of taking away people's preferences and choices for items that are legal.
So are the flavors your biggest seller?
They are not, but they represent, so in that particular category, there'd be a 17% reduction in that total department sales, 43% reduction in the total number of purchases within that category, which represents, I did numbers for 4 months, there was 1,900 purchases of flavored products in that category. So you're saying those 1,900 purchases could go somewhere else. So if they can't, they come to us for convenience. They come to us so they can get their lottery, their cigarette, their drinks. So if they can't get all of them there, they're gonna take their whole business somewhere else
I
where
know
they
it.
can do that. So you're, reducing our ability, to make a profit and to stay profitable and stay as a contributing member of the community.
But we only trying to indicate or direct what is good and what is bad, that's it. You know what I mean? We have a gentleman and a nice lady here, she comes and trying to help us out to specify, some stuff that already is in the market, they want to smoke cigarette. Now they come up with something else, like you mentioned now, that Massachusetts, okay, the marijuana, but now they give you the choice. You don't have to have it in your own town, remember that. You can say, we don't want the marijuana, you can go someplace else, we don't care about that. But the question is, at least people understand that we try to help them. I mean, if we say, what do you want to, you want to sell this, go ahead, sell everything you want, who cares, as long as you make money. But it's not, unconsciously, you say, what am I doing? Why, like the gentleman mentioned that he doesn't smoke and his children don't want to smoke. And I'm sure he doesn't want him to have any flavors. He says, are you kidding? He'd probably be like my father, give him a nice slap and give him a hug and a kiss, say, don't touch that stuff. But the question, we only trying to help individual. If they listen to a television and say, the board is trying to do the right thing, but we cannot stop the individual to sell it if it's on a regulation. If the law says they can have it.
Well, I think there's a public health basis for the
Yeah.
regulation and the reason that all these
It
towns
is indirectly, like
voted
you
for
say.
it. So
yeah.
that's the business basis, but a lot of regulations and laws are based on public health. Like you could say, well, we'll sell other drugs too. If you're over 21, you can kill yourself with that too. But we don't because of public health issues. So are we allowed to ask
We can
for the
ask
expert
anything.
to
We can ask anything. We are very lucky that we
provide
have
the
both.
public health rationale why all these towns that are listed? How many towns are here that have the
I'm
restriction?
not sure, but I do know out of my 27 town service
Unflavored.
area, 22 have this flavor policy.
Says
Yeah. So what's the
146.
rationale for that?
Out of it isn't a, DJ could probably talk a little bit more about that because it started in Providence, Rhode Island with a
Is it-
federal court case. But the rationale is for the kids, the products are cheap, they're easy to get, and they're flavorful. When you have vaping products that say Captain Crunch and Sweet Tart Heart, and you have, you know, cherry bubblegum margarita
So the-
blunt wraps and things like that.
Part of the
So-
argument was that they can't sell to anyone under 21.
Yes, except
So-
for, I was trying to call up and I'm blocked on
Yeah.
my sites, but in the federal, state, and local site, in the last 36 months, which is your regulation tolling period, Littleton stores have sold to minors these products. So I didn't bring that information with me because I don't want to state in a public hearing, because if I bring it to a public hearing, it becomes public record. and I
No,
don't
no,
wanna
I understand that.
Say what
I
store
can
sold,
vouch
but
for
there
this
is,
individual because they know
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I think to say the age is 21, we're not supposed to sell to minors, doesn't mean minors don't access those products.
Yeah.
And whatnot, and,
They send somebody else older than they are.
yeah, and the youth use of the candy, fruit, and alcohol flavored products have skyrocketed. The use of tobacco, cigarettes were flavored products were banned for cigarettes, and the use of cigarettes went down significantly in youth. They were not using mint, menthol, and plain, so the tobacco industry came back with, we're gonna now flavor cigars and blunt wraps. And what they did is they started out, the history of the blunt wrap, he is correct, it is used to marijuana. What happened is, kids were buying the candy, fruit, and alcohol flavored cigars, cutting out the tobacco and dumping them and using the tobacco wrap for marijuana. So the industry went, hey, don't lose our tobacco. We're gonna give blunt cigars for those who wanna smoke those, but we'll give you a wrap so you don't have to waste our tobacco. So the industry responds and works to get youth addicted to
when you're-
nicotine by using the candy, fruit, and alcohol
You're talking
flavor.
about kids, again.
Yeah.
Well, no,
What
because the
what
21
age
over
group
21.
are you talking about?
Well, the statistics show that if you don't start using tobacco products by the age of 20, there's only a 3% chance that you will start using tobacco products.
So
So
when
when
you're
we say the adult smoker, ask the adult smoker when they started using tobacco products. If you ask a 25-year-old, a 35-year-old, a 45-year-old, a 55-year-old, a 90-year-old, they're going to tell you that they started between 13 and 15. Your adult smoker made the decision to smoke as a minor and became addicted to the nicotine.
When it was
So-
illegal for them to have the product?
Well, no, yeah, well, it is illegal. There's lots of kids today, like in high school, kids are telling us, oh, I started at 12, I started at 13. They would get it from siblings, they'd steal it from parents, they all have a kid that was 18 in the high school that would go buy it for everybody, and then they all knew the stores that would sell to them no matter what.
So what I'm hearing is, though, even though it's 21, having it on the market provides access to kids who are under 21. Are we allowed to?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, this regulation, and there might have been some maybe misunderstanding, because I've been talking with the board about this for a couple of meetings, several meetings, they've been looking at it for a couple of months to get to a draft. This is not a regulation other than blunt wraps. It does ban blunt wraps, which is widely done across the state of Massachusetts by hundreds of communities. But what it does is it restricts the sale of flavor. So someone could open up an adult smoke shop. If you look at marijuana, the marijuana shops that are going to be opening up, it's 21 and up, but you're not allowed to sell any items in there but marijuana and marijuana-related items. So tobacco shops are the same way. If you open up a adult tobacco shop or cigar shop, you can't sell lottery, milk, candy, gum, chips, all these other things that, youth are interested in. There's no Dunkin' Donuts to attract other people in. When you're an adult smoke shop, you can't allow a minor in, even with dad with a baby in a backpack or someone in a stroller. So the reg doesn't prevent flavor from being sold in your community. It only restricts it to being sold in an adult-only establishment, which would mean existing stores would have to decide, do I want to move it into an adult tobacco or do I want to open a new one? Because right now, there isn't any adult tobacco shops in Littleton.
Would that be also a liquor store, or does it just
No,
tobacco?
a liquor store, anybody can go into a liquor store. Liquor stores don't want you in there without an adult, and they might ask you to leave, but they do sell candy, chips, water, other things, and there is no law that says you can't enter into a liquor store. It only says that you can't purchase alcohol from a liquor store, an age-restricted product from a liquor store.
Like in a marijuana, isn't it supposed to be you cannot have too many stores there? There might be one. I mean, the town might allow only one.
Depends on how many permits the town.
It depends on how many permits you have available.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So I think we,
You
Go ahead, sir.
asked
We
about
asked it.
rationale. If
Yeah.
you look at page 3 of the draft, the second, fourth, and fifth citations provide some
Oh, okay.
rationale for the flavor policy, and there's citations underneath that if you want to look at full reports.
What page is it on? I'm sorry.
Page 3.
Oh, second, fourth, and fifth?
Yep.
So if you go to those references, you can find the rationale for it.
Well, those are quotes from the actual reports.
And your statement of purpose talks about some of the rationale as to why you want flavor. And the idea of flavor restriction, while some adults do enjoy flavored products, the majority of people who purchase them start at a young age and become addicted.
Yeah,
in
because I
teen.
think we just wanted to address the concern of the shop, that's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
really- If
And-
it's
and I-
over 21, then why are we talking about kids? But it looks like the reason is that if it's on the market, they get access to it. So we're trying to halt that access.
But it's still gonna be in the market. Just people
Well,
are gonna buy.
You know what, we can only do what we
Yeah,
can do.
Exactly.
You gotta start
that's gonna give
somewhere.
you my observation on one thing.
Yeah.
Let's say right now cigarette, comparing cigarette prices, Massachusetts to New Hampshire. So there's a lot of people that go to New Hampshire to buy cigarettes because it's cheaper. So getting is cheaper in Massachusetts didn't stop people from smoking. So now, if you are a smoker, I'm not a smoker, if you are, just let's say, you smoke one pack a day, you get up at 7 o'clock to go to work, at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, you run out of cigarette, you're not gonna go to the store to get a cigarette, most likely, you're gonna say, I'll wait till tomorrow. You go to New Hampshire and you buy a carton because you're going up for that trip, and you put that in your glove box, and you run at 7, 8 o'clock, and your car in your garage, what are you gonna do? So, we are in Massachusetts, we're thinking it the wrong way. Believe me, it's not stopping people from smoking cigarettes. I'm talking adults. You want to target kids as much as you want, I'm with you, as much as you want. 21, 25 and younger, I'm fine with it. But when you come to a 30 and to a 40 and a 50, if they want something, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I hate to lose, because our business is struggling and we're losing. As Gary said, taxes are going up. We're just trying to survive. We have kids. We have to put them in college, we have to buy them health care, so it's our job. That's the only thing I can do. I'm 58 years old, that's all I do. And in 18 years, I have 0 violation. You said there are stores in Littleton, you bring my
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
You bring my name, if my name is up there,
I
I'll give you my
can't get it
license
to
right
call
now.
up. I mean,
say I don't want to
yeah.
sell anymore.
We don't
tobacco.
have excessive sales, but there have been sales in the last
Well, I
3 to
think
6
that-
months and all.
Well, there's also
Yeah.
eight
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
nine.
So
licenses.
I just wanted to say that I just didn't want the perception that kids aren't getting them, because they are.
Not in
Yeah.
our
Not in my
store.
store, they're not.
Not
Well-
in our store.
I cut everybody.
Okay.
Even if we see somebody is trying to buy something, an adult will say no.
Right.
Don't get excited, I know you guys.
No, that's
enough.
enough.
No,
Don't
No,
get
but
excited.
this is
hard.
just
We
like,
do a good
all the
job.
people, you guys are on top of us, you do a good job.
No,
And
I-
we are happy that you made that law with no grandfathering, because it was gonna be.
Much better.
It was gonna
Much
be a
better.
headache, because the client is gonna come in front of you and they're gonna say, no, they do it there, they do it here, that's it. It's black and white.
Yeah.
21.
perfect. Thank you for
about
that.
So thank you, you guys are doing
Yes.
the right thing, and please consider what we're just saying to you.
Yeah.
We're just trying to
We
make a living.
understand.
We want the best for the kids, we want the best for the kids, just
And-
please do that.
She said that there's 8 or 9 license,
yeah.
no, permits
Oh,
in
okay.
town, so it may not be you guys.
Okay.
There's 6 other
Oh,
people.
no, I was not implying that it was you guys. I do this for 27 towns. I do not know, unless you're an excessive repeat violator, I don't know personally. I have to look up in the records, but I do know that there.
Just kind of came off wrong to Joe and I.
No, I really
Okay,
apologize.
so-
I feel like I'm not
No.
presenting myself in a way, because like I said, it's a restriction, and one of the things I clearly said in the opening is that you take everything under advisement, you make no decisions tonight, you hear what people have to say, and then you'll go down later, one by one, does this make sense for our town, yes or no? Does this make sense for our town, yes or no? So I did not imply that this is something the board is doing today. What the board had to do to prepare for this hearing is go through what they already had and what you can add, almost like the kitchen sink template. What do you want to put in to hear from your community about? Because there are certain sections where you choose yes or no, I want this or I don't want that. So nothing is, I don't make any decisions for the board, I provide them with information, and based on their decisions, I present the draft, and I collect the information that they ask me for. So I 110% work for this board, and this board only. When I'm in another town, I work for that board. So I have 27 sets of bosses, so.
Thank you.
So I guess ask a question of you guys. There's one of the questions we have of grandfathering licenses as they expire, or like with Fallon's.
Retiring.
You don't have a,
Retiring.
you don't have a cap right now, so you don't have a cap, so 100 businesses can open right now. If you have a cap, and you're capped at 9, Fallon's goes out of business, you have one open.
Yeah.
If you do a retiring cap, and Fallon's goes out of business, and they don't sell it within 6 months, and it remains empty, that one gets retired, and your new cap is 8.
What do we have in the draft reg? I think it's the retirement.
It gives you the
isn't it?
choice. You guys haven't made a decision yet, what your choice was.
So I guess for you guys, a question for you guys, would you like us to limit the amount? I mean, you're the only ones.
We are in a town, and we're trying to bring businesses into town, and you're trying to bring taxes, so I just don't know if you wanna put a cap, like just say whatever there's existing and shut the door.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I think that's something that you need to discuss probably with the Board of Selectmen and the Plan Board and see what their opinion on
Well,
that.
we're
But
the-
from a business opinion, I think competition is good. You just don't wanna limit it, because then people will start coming to the stores and paying them money for their licenses, because they will wanna buy it. So you're gonna bring my price up, and this is not the goal. I think the goal should be, there should be an honest competition, and the town should do the right decision, which will serve all the taxpayers, not an individual like me who's just gonna benefit from a license.
Because we're the Board of Health, and cigarettes are bad for your health.
Correct.
That's really what we're,
Maybe the cap should be based on
Correct.
population, just like a liquor license.
And fast cars are
As the
bad
town
for
grows,
us,
That's who
and
we-
drinking is bad for us.
we're the Board of Health, that's it. We're not economic development here.
Are there any other regulations that you have a concern with?
I just wanted to
Besides-
touch upon what Joe said a moment ago. I mean, competition's good. Joe and I are, we sell the same things, but we also respect each other's position. I respect what he does, and we would help each other if we ever had a problem with a cooler or something like that. Or if he needed something, I would help him and he would help me as well. So even though we are friendly competitors, we would help each other in a gym. If he had a problem, I'd be there with him for him in a second, and I think Joe would do the same for me. So competition is a good thing. I just want to touch upon that. We work together, even though we run our own businesses. We would always help each other without a problem.
Nice.
Would you, anything to add? You,
Or is it just you three guys?
Sure.
Three? Mhm.
Yes?
Yeah,
Yes.
But
Do you have anything to add?
okay. All right,
Anything else you'd like to make a point there, Kevin?
no,
You? Anything?
I'm good.
all right.
Okay.
I think, excuse me, I think the biggest thing is probably number 9. That's kind of.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I mean, you're gonna get it regardless. You're gonna go over the border, or you're gonna get it online. And instead of an ancillary business, someone coming to me like Carol had suggested, they come in here and they're trying to do one-stop shopping. Well, business is gonna go elsewhere. So we're just trying to kind of stop that, if you will, and we're just trying to survive. That's all we're trying to do. We're doing things. I believe, by the law, and we will always abide by the law. Regardless of whatever this board says, we respect you. So please understand that. But we just want to have a chance to be able to sell things that we've always done and sell it responsibly, because we are responsible business owners. And I don't know of anyone in town that's not a responsible person. I can't think of it. But I think we're all pretty responsible. We all care about kids. And I care about kids, and I know you certainly do.
I think it's number 9.
Number 9.
Okay.
Blunt wrap, I haven't sold any blunt wrap, so it's just like the.
Well, number 9 and 11 kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, more 9 than.
Yeah.
Okay.
9 is really our big thing.
Okay.
I just wanted to make a couple of points that I would make at your next meeting, and I'm not sure if everybody would be here or not, because it's not a public hearing per se, but what I wanted to point out is that we talk to retailers all the time after a policy. We go in, we make sure that they understand the policy, they understand the implementation date. We always ask after a policy, and then very next inspection, how's it going? Are you having any problems? What's going on? In the communities that have passed flavor, the first thing we ask in those visits, and I have 22 communities, and Littleton is surrounded by communities that already have this policy. So for bordering, other towns are saying they can come to Leominster and get these products now because your other towns have passed these flavor restrictions. Not everyone, but I'm
Littleton?
going to bring a map to the next one that will show you who around you has these
Well,
policies.
she has them.
There is a list, but like
Leominster has
Westford.
restricted it.
I'm sorry?
Leominster is on the
You mean,
list.
you said Leominster, I think you meant Littleton. They're gonna
Littleton,
come
I'm
to
sorry.
Littleton. That's okay.
I just came from Leominster.
that's
Littleton, and, you know, Littleton, when I went to Littleton Road Liquors instead of Littleton Liquors, which is now Great Road Liquors, that town, I went in there and I did the inspection, like, wow, you have no flavor, and they go, the town doesn't allow it. I go, no, they're here, I'm here to pass the public hearing here, and he's like, no, see, the edge of my property looks deceiving, I'm actually Westford. So, so he said, you know, he said, we already have had it. I get this all the time, and it's a trouble for me because people think this is Littleton, and they think they can come over the line and buy because my property is, and they can't. So, one of the things that we've asked business owners over and over and over again, and I've asked DJ because he goes to public hearings all over the state, we've asked business owners, can anybody come forward and show us that they've lost money when a flavor restriction has come in? And the owners say no, because distributors replace it with something else. That's what the industry does. They always come out and bring another product and replace it with someone else. But we have never had anybody come forward in a hearing and say that they've lost money. We've never had anybody come forward after and say, listen, this has really hurt my business. And when we've asked business owners in these other communities, how's it going, what happened, have you lost any customers, have you lost any money? They said, no, the industry replaced it with something else. Flavors has not been a deep business. Cigarettes have been around for decades. Flavors is something that has just been up and coming in more recent years. And the increase in flavors has happened because the industry saw kids quitting smoking because they don't smoke. When cigarettes said you can't have flavored cigarettes, now, you know, we're going to start flavoring these other products. And flavors really exploded with vaping. And vaping has been an industry that's relatively brand new. I mean, it's really exploded just really in the last 3 or 4 years. So it isn't something that's the cornerstone of a convenience store. Cigarettes are a cornerstone of a convenience store. Milk, bread, and eggs is a convenience of a corner store. Lottery is a cornerstone of a convenience store. But some of these flavor products, it's a much newer thing that's just developed. And I have communities that go as far back as 2014, and I have 450 retailers, and no one has come forward and said that they've lost business. It's just something new replaces what was taken away. Now, I'm not going to presume to say that no one has ever lost anything, but we ask all the time. And normally, if something happens and people are losing money, they're letting their city councilors know, they're letting their mayors know. There's other policies that have been passed that people, have been able to come forward and get really upset about, and they let everybody know. And it's been crickets on the flavor. And I don't know if DJ has known of anybody else across the state coming forward and saying that they lost money on the
We
flavor.
have absolutely no evidence that anybody's gone out of business from a flavor restriction.
Is it something that we can try for 6 months and see if there has been a change in their business and then restrict it and then, or
Look,
is
you
it
can
too hard?
pass a reg and unpass it anytime. I mean, I have never in the history of tobacco control had anybody ever revert a reg, going all the way back to 1994. But, I mean, you're the board, you have that right. You could pass a reg this month and then next month rescind it. Regulations, they're a regulation. You can change them at your will.
I have a question.
Yep.
Is there a possibility to reduce, to go within the flavors and allow certain flavors and not other flavors, or just, because there are flavors that I can understand, like you were reading, like the Captain Crunch, which I've never seen or heard of, but, like the cherry, or, for example, what is it, that,
Black and
cigar
mild wine.
that we have, this honey berry, backwoods
1886, whatever it is.
cigar that are sold to adults. We go through several things of them a week, and I've never seen, even when the age was 18, have we sold them to a kid, but we won't be able to sell them to an adult any longer.
A lot of golfers use that.
Right.
Yeah, golfers, they golf.
The honeyberry, the honey flavored, those things, we won't be able to sell them anymore because they're a flavor. And the apple skull, which are, adults buy, the berry skulls, those things, we won't be able to sell those anymore. And those are definitely things that adults come for. So those are items that I know, they're gonna go somewhere else for.
Would you say something, sir?
Sure. So when the Providence ordinance was put in place, it exempted tobacco flavor, mint, menthol, and wintergreen flavors, and everything else was considered a flavor. And that's what was tested in the federal court. So this is really an up or down policy related to health if you don't want to get sued. If you veer from that, a lawsuit is likely. So Somerville undid that menthol wintergreen, and they are being sued by a firm that was actually at an earlier Board of Health meeting, I think, here within the last year or so. So they are being sued. So this is really like
Delicate.
yeah. It's actually pretty solid. It's yes or no.
This regulation draft is based out of that court case, and just so everybody in the room, and I'm not sure if we're being
Yeah,
paid,
television, yes.
but just so everybody in the room understands, we share the same federal court as Providence. So if there's an appeal, whatever that case decided it for Massachusetts as well. The only thing that can open it up again to reverse that decision is if you make changes. So when it comes to the flavor, you're using the exact same language as Providence, and that was ruled upon in that federal court. That's why you have to keep all the same definitions and the same language. So it doesn't let us cherry pick flavors, because I often get asked for black and mild wine. Black and mild wine, they were okay with getting rid of black and mild cherry, but black and mild wine, the kids weren't getting that. But what ends up happening is kids will start turning to whatever flavor is available. In your particular store, the flavored Skol, the fruit flavored Skol isn't popular with minors because you're very minor conscientious. But in other stores, there are kids that will buy, that play sports and whatnot, and they'll buy the flavored Skol. So it all depends, because for what sells in one store might not sell in another store, so it's really hard to cherry pick flavors.
So we have to be careful.
You have to decide to either do flavor as defined or not. That's what you'll have to, you'll have to take everything in at your next couple of meetings. And you don't have to decide your very next meeting. If you still have concerns and I will collect all the data and information you need, or work with you to answer any questions you have. And then you just go through, I want one, I want two, you vote on each section to include in your new update.
We want to make sure it's safe, and only for the Board of Health, but also for the people that
Yep.
sells it too. Because if they sue us, no me, the town, they're gonna sue them too. We don't want nobody to get sued.
Yeah, there's nothing contestable in this particular regulation. This regulation's been around since 2013, and hundreds of communities in Massachusetts have this language in it, and it's not, it was sued in the federal court in Rhode Island. The only way it could be sued is if something different is in it, or you change the wording and you're not using the language that gives somebody an angle to get in there. And then what would happen is you'd go back and use the right language. So it isn't, right.
So you got 140 towns signed out of 354?
No, I don't know, whatever the,
146.
146 out of 354?
yes, but you have to understand, especially in Western Mass, there's probably 50 towns that don't even have retailers in them. Yeah, it's deceiving, because it's like 80% of the population lives in a town, whatever the population is, because there's tons of towns that have no commerce in Massachusetts. Out of that 350, there's a lot of towns that are a population of 1,000, population of 3,000. They don't have any stores. They don't have stores that sell tobacco, so you can't do it by town. So we kind of take a look at how much of the population is living with this regulation.
Okay, so I don't mean to interrupt here, but the question we do have other, so we have time to think about it, so we don't inflict anybody at the moment? Should we-
No, you close your hearing and you sit on it, and you put it on your future agendas when you're ready to
Okay.
discuss it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll close the meeting, or the public meeting. We thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank
We will
you.
do the best
Thank you.
we
Have a
can
Thank you.
so you don't get affected and we don't get affected, but you can still sell whatever you need to sell. All right?
Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
See you guys later.
I'm gonna
appreciate
leave
it.
extra copies,
Yes,
so if
yes.
somebody sees it on TV or contacts the board and wants a
that's
copy.
Yeah, I will give it to
thank you.
Janet, yeah, and then she
Thanks
will
for
make
your
copy
help.
for us.
Yep, you're very welcome.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, DJ.
If we need you, you should come back again, right?
I'll come to every meeting it's on, so.
Thank you.
Janet will just let me know when your next meeting is.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your input. Okay, now we have, I guess we're a little late, but we're 7:25 public hearing.
But who's counting? Boston? But who's counting?
You are the 10 feet, huh?
Isn't there a game on tonight?
Yeah, that's what he
You
said.
take it easy.
Enjoy it.
Right now, game 7.
It's 2-0?
Yes.
That's why Sean keeps
Yeah.
checking his phone.
No, he's checking it out. I don't have all that technology stuff on my
Come
phone.
on.
All right.
How you doing? Good.
You want to give us a hard time, no?
I can, if you'd like.
You don't want to give us a hard time, no?
No?
Okay.
I'll do anything you'd like, sir.
Because, you know, I don't want to get involved with too big.
Excuse me.
I don't want to hurt my hands, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. So thank you for coming, and your name is?
Sean Keenan.
And your name?
My name's Nick Paul.
You wrote it down in a piece?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Okay, so we have here, let me, you go ahead, talk to the board, I'm gonna read what the agent says to us.
Well,
I can give you a brief overview if you'd like.
yeah,
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 yeah.
do that first.
So, my name's Nick Pauling. I'm an engineer with Goldsmiths Preston Wingwell. I don't think you...
Oh, I'll take it.
Those are the notifications of the abutters. What we're asking for tonight is relief from your no-fill within 10 feet of a property line. The property is 20 Elm Road, which is an existing, I'll call it a handyman's house. Two-bedroom, you know, there's portions of the existing that don't have a foundation, it's just exposed dirt, kind of thing. Mr. Keenan is a new property owner that's looking to rehab the house and sell it.
Is he gonna throw the house all the way down,
Yes.
knock it off?
Yes. The existing driveway to the existing house is the end of the physical access from on Elm Street. The rest of the right-of-way to Washington Street is a paper road. It's heavily wooded, undulating type things. The town of Littleton actually owns a number of parcels
Okay.
adjacent to it. The proposal is for a four-bedroom dwelling. We've done testing out at their existing property. The property is relatively narrow, being 100 feet wide, deep. There's been preliminary talks with the abutting property for future development of trying to blend any potential systems due to some high groundwater. We designed this plan without the need for that fill easement right now, but it's my understanding that if we pursued it, we'd have to come back and ask for grading within 10 feet of the property line anyways. So that's why we're kind of covering all the bases all at once. The plan was submitted to Mr. Gariffi, talking with him. I believe he doesn't have any comments on it. You have his recommendations
Yeah.
in front of you.
I just wanted the board to make any
Yeah.
recommendation they feel,
What was your perk rate?
okay?
Perk rate was 29. The existing system on the property was a 27. There was one failure around the existing dwelling. The existing system sits right in the middle from 1993. That one, looking at the Board of Health files, seems like it was an interesting permitting process. There was, you know, a
It
letter.
was like a one-bedroom, right?
It was a one, and then during the design,
It was like
they
10
figured
feet
out-
of gravel.
Yeah,
and,
they did a bunch of things,
yeah.
but it looked like it got denied originally, and then they complained to the state, and the state kind of, you know, rest in peace, Mr. Casaneri, you know, ended up writing a letter saying, well, you gotta put this in the deed, or so. It was,
Yeah, it's deed restricted
Pretty
for the
interesting.
perk rate.
yeah, it was that, and
But
because,
then that deed restriction, Jim said, because it was before 1992, he wanted a new one, which is why we did new perks. So I said to him, I said, well, if it's deed restricted, we're going by 27.
The ground didn't
You want a
change.
four-bedroom, we're gonna redo another perk.
so we actually
All right,
did
we'll do a
get
perk.
slightly slower. Title V, as we know it, in the way that we measure redex metamorphic features or modeling, was invented in '95. So the perks didn't change, though.
Yeah.
Some of the regulations did change. They used to do overnight soaks and things like that. You know, we got 2 minutes slower per inch. You know, the design rate is still the same.
And what's groundwater?
Groundwater was about 38 inches. So that's kind of hard to also tell. I came and tested near the property line, just from the standpoint that this whole part of the system is already, or the property is already in fill. So I believe, let me just double check so I'm not leading you down the wrong road. Yeah, 38 inches, and under the fill, testing almost at the end of the existing system, it was 82 inches, so you can just kind of see the amount of fill.
It's on a hill, I don't know if you guys drove by it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out, I'm sorry, I was trying to get Google Maps up.
Yeah.
So this
But-
property here, the
All the way to
Hinckley
the top,
Family Trust
yeah.
is higher a little bit.
Could you tell me the cross streets?
So this one's Dogwood up above it.
And
Emerson?
So it's on the hill?
Emerson?
yes.
Emerson goes up.
Yeah.
So
And
if
then
you're at the
Elm is up.
lake,
Yeah.
Emerson.
You come down Grove? Or is it further up
It's
the
like a
hill?
driveway. actually.
Grove, take
It's
a
like
right, and then
Was
take a
this-
right on
Pete
Elm.
Corey lives there.
Was this,
Oh.
Joe's house?
Yes,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Oh, Joe's house.
yeah.
Joe Hohenjoe.
Joe Handyman.
Yeah.
He's a welder, not a handyman.
Oh, there's
Well,
all
I'm sure-
kinds of welding
yeah.
going on over there.
Yes.
I'm
So
sure
you
he's a
go,
handyman.
you go up the hill and you take a right down here, and it looks like a,
Yes. It looks like, you don't see the house because the existing vegetation, if you keep driving, it looks like you're gonna drive into Joe's stump that he turned into a fire pit.
oh, okay, I know where it is.
We having a butter?
My dogs used to hang out
So
there.
you're asking for,
Relief to put fill required for the leaching area within 10 feet of a property line.
you need it anyways, not just because of the future development, but you need it anyway.
It makes it certainly easier.
It's for the Elm side? Or for the back side?
So it's for all sides.
for all the sides.
It's all
Oh,
sides.
right.
We knew we were coming and talking with you, so it's a case of, we do meet, we are on the property everywhere. The closest, I believe, is down in this corner. We're about 2 feet away.
Why can't you pull it away from the property line? I have a question, because usually I don't vote for variances if it's an increase in bedrooms
Okay.
or if it's a new build. So you're going from a 2, maybe a 1, and then it went to a 2-bedroom, and now it's at 4.
Proposed.
Yeah, proposed, thank you. So if you were to keep it at a 2-bedroom, what would be would you have to get the variance for the 10-foot? And what's the change in grade that you're gonna have on that?
And within the 10 feet?
Well, I'll ask the first question. So, if you were designing for a 2-bedroom, what would the boundaries be? Maybe you can't tell.
So right now, we're proposing 4 trenches. So if you, rough layman's terms, we could basically say 1 trench per bedroom. So if we stuck with 2, right now, under Title V, we would have to file for a new deed restriction because it's less than the minimum required for construction.
Yeah,
3 minimum.
it would have to go. So if you went with a 3, what would it look like?
Well, it would be 3 trenches.
Yeah,
So,
so you could get it in without the
well,
variance?
we could, no, because we also have a reserve, because
Yeah.
now we'd be new construction, because it goes from a 2 to a 3. So the flat area of the existing site and the existing system falls off. So what's happening is that we have to catch up with grade. That's why you see a lot of black lines here. That's at an elevation of 328, sloping down to 319. Now, that's not 8 feet of fill, that's 8 feet of grade change because the existing grade is also falling down. We're limited to what we can grade the existing system at unless we put in a wall or an impervious barrier, which would also have me sitting here asking for relief from your regulations, the same as grading within 10 feet of a property line.
Okay, thank you for the comment. Let me read what,
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
There's somebody on a butter here, or this undeveloped right here?
It's in conversations, I don't know if he's in the room. No, it is
Is that
undeveloped.
Bill
It's a
Sturts?
vacant lot.
Is that Bill's?
That's
No.
Westchester Homes.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't follow you when you were talking about why,
Which I think is right here.
Okay.
why if you went down to 3 trenches, the footprint wouldn't get smaller.
The footprint would get smaller, so,
5 feet.
for example, if these are 2-foot trenches, if we went down to 3, I would gain 6 feet. But my fill is 2 feet away from the property line. So if I gain 6, and I'm already at 2, I'm at 8 feet with the property line.
Oh,
And your
okay.
regulation is 10,
I see, so you'd still need the variance.
correct?
Let Peter
But it
talk.
would be better.
But the height of the fill, what we're asking for is like minimal. It's
you
like
have
a
any
foot.
problem?
We're changing the grade by like this much.
So, yeah, that was the second
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
I got them mixed together. So what's the maximum change in grade from existing grade to what you're proposing?
The maximum would be over the top, the highest part of the system. The D-box requires a grade of 32, and the existing is about 28 and a half.
Okay.
Which makes it
So
some...
3.5 feet?
Yeah.
3.5 feet, yeah, at that one specific location.
Okay. So if you went down to the 3-bedroom,
That doesn't change, because the groundwater would remain.
okay.
Okay, thank you. You say you're the butter, Peter?
Yeah.
You have any comment? No?
No, I just, Sean's a
Okay. Okay, let me read what,
Could you use a?
you got anything else to say? Because I'm gonna read,
Go ahead.
Jimmy. Okay, the applicant, excuse me, sir.
Sorry about that, sir.
The applicant is proposing that to tear down the two-bedroom house and build a four-bedroom dwelling in this place. Soil testing was conducted and the applicant has prepared a plan for a sewage disposal system in compliance with Title V and with the other regulation, except Regulation 10, regarding their placement to fill with 10 feet of the lot land. Through the lot is bigger than most of their neighbor, the high water table and perk rate result in large footprint for the leaching area, including the necessary fill. The breakout fill for the leaching area will be getting within 10 feet of the lot line. I don't have an issue with the request because the abutting lots are either upgrading and the site of the lot are undeveloped. The potential adverse effect from the surface runoff should be minimal. Okay, that's what our agent wrote, and I usually have a lot of faith in it.
Can I ask another
So-
question?
You already spoke, honey, about this?
Yeah.
Now, you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I wanted to ask another question.
Go ahead, ask another
So it's
question.
on a hill. Where's the slope on the plan? Which side is the slope?
What side?
Isn't it, it's up on a slope, isn't it?
Correct.
It's just like, so the way you look on the plan, it's shaped like this.
Comes down, flattens.
And the neighbors up above are like this.
Comes down sharply.
These lighter
Ah,
lines.
Yeah,
okay.
to the right. Yes, that's correct, sir.
And,
These are the existing topo lines.
So then within the right of way,
yeah.
then it falls down again.
Down towards that Sturts house you mentioned, it cranks down.
And so you
to
won't
that.
need any,
So the whole
any
street is.
retaining wall or
Yeah,
riprap
the
or
whole
anything
thing.
on?
Like,
Side?
you know,
At the
Washington
bottom.
Street, that's pretty much the grade.
And what is this, 20 feet, this paper road?
40,
How much?
40,
40.
And it's within 10 feet of the paper road,
yes.
and then 10 feet of this one, which is
Yes.
owned by,
Westchester Homes.
Westchester Homes.
Builder.
and so if you did want, I'm just walking through it in my head. So if you go down and you don't increase the bedrooms, you're still gonna have to go within 10 feet of the property line.
Yes.
How big of a house? Square footage?
Probably like 2,500.
And why can't you
I think we
push
drew the
push it
footprint
closer to the
at,
house?
So
30
pushing
by
it closer to the
40.
house, one of the comments, I believe is here, Peter mentioned, wanting to have the proposed, a little bit further away from his property.
One of the neighbors, Pete, asked me if he could get any of the land to give himself a little bit more room behind his house, so we pulled the house that way. I don't know what the measure is, but 10 or 15 feet at least.
So putting this way.
Are there any
T-Box is still so far
runoff
from the
issues
pump, though.
between your property and that property?
Closer?
It's potential, but
Okay. Peter has nothing to say, so. I'm entertaining a motion here from the board.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance of
20 Elm Road.
20 Elm Road regarding the placement of fill within 10 feet from the lot lines, plot, or plan number, is there, the plan number,
Stamp on it?
what do we got it, right here?
what are you looking for?
Plan
The
number.
date.
Plan dated 3/26/19.
A second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
That was a tough one earlier. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Because with new construction, we have that two separate
You
areas.
have no benefits.
Yeah, well, we need two separate areas rather than interfere. So
The
that,
trenches and then between,
Guys, Cricket Lane?
good evening, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good night.
Still 2-0.
What did he
Thank
say?
you.
Oh, it's all tied up, is that what he said?
Still 2-0.
Oh, still 2-0.
I knew,
Sorry we're so late.
It's okay. Just as long as it's
knew I'd see you
tonight,
again.
we're okay.
I knew I'd see you again. How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
All right. Good evening. My name is Dan Wolf. I'm with David Ross Associates. And I'm representing George and Diana Paradise on this piece of property on Cricket Lane. We've submitted the plans to Jim Gariffi. He's reviewed them, and we've also requested 2 variances in this particular case. The lot contains 1.3 acres, so it's a good-sized lot, but we've got a lot of constraints that we were trying to deal with and wrestle with. Namely, we've got the wetlands along the backside here. We're also dealing with the riverfront area, and we met with the Conservation Commission last night. They're going to be scheduling a site walk, and we'll continue that hearing. But as it affects this board and the regulations, we're asking for two variances. One is for the offset from the septic system here to the well out in the back. We've provided 104 feet. As you know, the state requires 100 feet,
Right.
but your regulations call for 150 feet, and the soils are 2 minute per inch soils, as they are here. Because of the wetlands and our desire to get the well as far away from the system as possible, but yet we also are dealing with the offset to the wetlands themselves. We have an offset of 64 feet, whereas your regulations call for 100 feet. So kind of in a unique situation in the fact that we're wrestling with Conservation Commission regulations and offsets, as well as Board of Health, but we think we've put together probably the best layout of everything here to be able to give the best offsets all around. So that's what we're
So
presenting.
is that wetland, the green?
Yes, it is.
So your toe is slope on the, is that existing topo coming down to the green?
That is existing, yes.
So what's the limit of the work for the septic?
Is right there.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
okay.
it's okay. It's
I got
okay.
drawn over to the side of the color.
Yeah.
What does the red line represent?
Red line represents, I used this plan last night with the Conservation Commission. That's the silt fence, hay bales, just the protection. In other words,
Right.
we're demonstrating to the commission that we're keeping all of our activity
Right.
right in there.
So that's during construction?
Yes.
Right, right, and then you take it out. Yeah.
Right, when the project is done and all the
It's a
ground has been
big lot,
seeded.
it's a big lot too, you have.
Yeah, it's a nice sized lot.
No house there?
No,
No.
it's a vacant lot.
Did you test the
So
water
they-
quality?
eventually they're gonna,
What's that?
Did you test the water quality of that well?
We haven't drilled the well yet. That's what we're here for, is to get a variance to place the well there, and
So you
then
don't know-
obviously
you
the
don't know how-
quality.
You don't know how the water is going to be?
No.
And there's no town water on the road, yeah.
no town water, but you have a leach field already, so eventually you're gonna build a house there, right?
Yes.
Well, how many bedrooms gonna be?
4 bedrooms.
4 bed, okay. The leach field and the septic system, how big is it, septic system?
The septic system services 4
Oh, the
bedrooms.
4 bedroom, okay. All
So
right, would you be kind enough to read the?
I'll read
the
Jim's
comment?
notes. Cricket Lane, Lot 1-A2. The applicant is proposing a new dwelling on this lot. The proposed sewage disposal system and well comply with Title V, and the sewage disposal system also complies with your specific septic regulations. Because the site constraints are, the proposed well location does not meet all of the offset requirements in your well regulations. There are wetlands to the western side of the lot, which makes compliance with the wetlands and leaching area offsets impossible. The proposed well location is greater than 100 feet from the leaching area and greater than 50 feet for the wetlands and 18 feet above the wetland elevations. Based on the topography of the lot, I believe a well can be installed that will provide a safe water supply well for the proposed dwelling. I don't have an issue with this request.
Do you know how deep you're
Thank
gonna
you.
go with the well?
That's a great question. I wish I could answer all the time, but nobody ever knows that. The drillers simply go down until they're getting enough of a yield. They can go down 200 feet and say, wow, we've got tons of water, and stop there. Other times, a driller will go in any location, drill down 200 feet, and they're only getting 1 gallon per minute. So they'll
Right.
keep going deeper and deeper.
I don't know about private wells here. Are you familiar? Is it 200 feet? Or is that how deep?
Yeah,
the
what's
wells
common
are?
in Littleton, we have so many ponds and everything, it seems like.
Do they
I'm
go
not-
down
I'm not
200?
an expert in it, but I do know that I quite often hear 300-400 feet.
In Littleton?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I know my own was about 370.
So you're not gonna have any connection between the septic and the well anyway, if it's down 400 feet?
Right, we're drawing from an aquifer 300 feet below
You'd
the
be in bed-
ground
Yeah.
versus this, which
It'd be
is...
in bedrock.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's a big difference between the septic system being next to wetlands versus the well being next to wetlands.
Right, right.
So
Yeah,
the well's not going to contaminate any wetlands.
right. Okay, I entertain a motion here.
Make a motion to approve the variance request for the well
For Cricket Lane.
for Cricket Lane, plan dated April 1st, 2019.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for coming. Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah.
I'll talk to you about it later.
All right, so have some permits to sign?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Workman's
And I guess
Comp
Workman's-
didn't show up.
They were
She emailed
iffy.
us about that, right?
Janet, I think,
They were-
Emailed that.
Doug wasn't gonna be able to make
I
it,
couldn't find
and she
it.
wasn't sure if the engineer was.
For the.
But basically,
all the number
town
for
council
regulation.
outlined something that we just need to say.
For the cigarette farm.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a motion?
No, we need to sign some permits first.
I don't have it.
All right.
But I think, I
Well, I'd
don't
like to
need,
have
you
it.
might not
Well,
need to stay for that.
Really
You
want
could
to
have
get
got
out of
these,
here.
they were handing them out, you could have grabbed one.
Oh, okay.
Because it's,
I didn't grab
it's
it.
just the four of us?
No,
Just
that's
have to
okay.
sign it, or-
Yeah.
Can we have, Kevin, can you pass those down so Kevin can sign them first, because he
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm in no
he wants
rush.
to.
No rush.
I think you are.
Are your wife's gonna throw you out if he's gonna?
Help everybody out.
Oh, my God.
I can't sign them anyway. 'cause-
You're in a rush, figures we took so long, huh?
What? Oh,
He's in a rush and we had a long meeting.
Yeah.
At least
Well, that's a
the
lot
first
to,
part.
it's a lot to talk about and a lot to think about.
yeah.
I have
Yeah,
to
that's a good idea to think about, you're right.
bang
You
my
know,
head on
so many things coming up,
Again.
marijuanas, flavors, oh my God. These kids, they're
We'll wait
gonna,
until that comes, because that's
can you
coming.
imagine that, they're gonna get poisoned before you, and then what happens when they go look for job,
I don't
and they
think we-
smell that stuff?
Okay.
I don't think we
can't
can talk about it
I know,
anymore.
I know, I know. All right. Crowd.
Stay right there.
90 in the show.
If there was only one,
Is there,
you need a pen?
I'm good.
where's the,
Done.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
I don't know if it's gonna rain tonight or what, tomorrow. Be safe,
I
okay?
don't know, is there a
Whatever-
variance on here?
whatever you
Let's
do.
see.
No, that's why we get these, because they don't have variances.
Well, some of them are though.
Some of the
So,
ones that we've already approved the variances.
yeah.
The ones that have variants have stickies on them, don't they? The two that were here tonight.
Granted, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you sign that one yet, Kevin?
Oh, this is for tonight.
You signed that one? I think Gino just sent me.
One
the date
came
of that.
from the other direction.
Any portion of the interceptor drain encountered must be,
Ooh, this is,
What?
so I used to live on Neshoba Road, which was part of this Emily Cobb Trust,
Oh,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
passed away, so,
It's a very cool house.
is it? It looks very big, five bedrooms.
How big is it?
Yeah. 5 bedrooms. You've already signed that.
5-bedroom?
Yes.
Wow.
It's done.
I think that one's done.
Good.
just signed.
I didn't sign it yet, what are you talking about? Give me that, that's.
You signed it.
Right. You signed that?
Are they already building the house? Or, you've seen the plans?
What's an old house?
Oh, it is?
Very old. It was
Oh.
moved here in like 18-something.
Is that the one she lived in?
Must have been.
It says it's
Must
a
have
lot.
been a family house.
It says it's a lot.
Big family house?
There's 2 lots there. There's like an 8-acre and then there's.
Is it on Cobb Meadow?
No,
If
it's
you go
on
down, if you
Pickard.
go down Pickard, there's like a mile-long gravel driveway that
Wow.
goes back to this house.
Wow.
There's a few houses like that tucked away
Mm.
in this town.
But all the electric wires are above ground, so it's like, and it's just them. So like if one tree falls on it, it's like, oh, how long you have to wait to get your power back?
Littleton's
It's
pretty
solar.
good about that.
Yeah, so
Yes, we-
I wanted to build my house, I wanted to have it
Zero.
wired for
Net zero.
a generator. And my builder said, We never lose power enough in Littleton. It's just our power is, you know, our plants are around.
And I
He
move,
doesn't listen.
I'll move to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So do you know anything